Hi, this is Dia Damson, and today I'm going to do a small painting and reproduction of Monet. And let's put on our painting hat. There it is. And now we can begin. I'm going to paint a painting that it's called Saint Giorgio Maggiore at Dusk. We very gently we are going to sketch. There is details in the brush strokes, but in the object is super simplified. So I am going to create the line between this is going to be my land and water, and on top it's going to be a sky. So there is an object here which is buildings, and there is not a exact shape. Then we have a little bit of a shadow here. Then we are going kind of halfway through the canvas. We are going to create a little lower building, higher roof building with something sticking on the top. Then we're going to create a cross-looking building and the tower, which goes almost to the top. So we have two parts of the tower. One is here and one kind of looks like that. And then the roofs. And I see how I'm running out of space, so I'm gonna move my objects a little bit to the right. And that's the beauty of pre-sketching. All right. Also, we have a little bit of a reflection here, and the reflection of the tower, which I moved. So let me erase this line so you guys can see. I moved it to the right, and this goes right here. It goes all the way out, because when the light is very, very low and we have very, very low light, obviously our reflections will be longer. So I'm going to get a little bit of white here and my magenta. And I'm gonna start with light magenta. I'm gonna get some ultramarine here. Didn't wipe my or clean my brush. So my magenta is mixing with my ultramarine. And it's creating a really nice color. So there is that building, tiny little brush strokes. So when you're doing tiny brush strokes, it's a lot more work than doing long brush strokes, or try to, I guess, smooth things around, because you have to reload quite often. You cannot just continue for a long time, because you're really wiping your brush on the canvas. So these are the paintings where a lot more paint is going to go into them, and that's okay. So I'm placing these buildings here because and I see a little bit of red too, so I'm going to load a little bit of red. And this brush is too big, so I have to change to a small brush. I'm looking at his brush strokes and they're tiny, so I'm going to go back in here and make sure they're little. Now I'm sure my colors will be different than his, and that's okay. I'm looking at the painting on two different screens, and on both screens my painting or his painting looks very different, which means that I am sure the colors, the original colors, are not what I see, and that's totally fine. So there is no sharp edges on any of the separation between one object to another. It's a blurred line in a way. And I picked some white without washing my brush and just leaving tons of paint. Let's go here, a little bit more blue. Let's get some of that really dark red, which is Alizard, and apply some of that right here. And going over some of the purplish blue looking buildings here, smoothing that out. And by smoothing means don't want sharp edges, sharp lines between one area and another area. And when I'm mixing colors, I'm starting in one location and kind of gently changing the color, either adding or taking away one of the other colors that I'm mixing. I'm moving away from my beginning just to see the spectrum of colors that I'm creating, because I can always figure out where do I want to be. Do I want to be really light or keep it darker, and kind of my movement into the palette. Okay, so we're going to get a little bit of yellow. I'm gonna start yellow. Did not wash my brush, because actually that is so perfect, because I have the magenta pinkish colors mixing beautifully with my yellows, and I want that. I seriously, this is how it looks. Just a transition, slow transition between one color and another color. And that cadmium yellow, it's perfect. It just gives me that brightness. I love it. Got a little dark there, that's okay. Get a little more yellow and lay that down with some of my purples. Blurring the lines between the objects, but leaving tons of brush strokes. So magenta and your blues, either the primary blue or the ultramarine, will give you a beautiful purple. Obviously one's going to give you a little bit of a darker purple versus a lighter purple. So experiment with your blues, but your color to add to make the purple is magenta, not red. So I love looking at the artists from like the 18th and the 19th century and kind of trying to get into their heads. It's so interesting because in that period a lot of things have changed, a lot of things happen in art, and it's really cool. So if you have a chance, go and read a little bit about Monet or Van Gogh, or there's tons of artists during that time, just to get into their heads. It's always a good idea before you start painting somebody to kind of try to get and see what were they looking for, what was their study, because most of the artists during that time, they were trying to study something, either light or combination of colors, or just creating a brand new style that not necessarily people really accepted and liked. So all those things are super interesting to just try to get in. So when I said I'm going to start with the background, totally change that, and that's okay. And that's what happens when you paint. Sometimes you do things backwards. So good. Let's continue with my yellow, and let's add a little bit of the white. So I have a lot of brush strokes that are going sideways, so I'm just gonna help myself. And his brush strokes are not just from side to side, they're up and down, they're really all over the place. So I just have to remember that I don't have restrictions on a direction, and I love it. All right, so we are going redder and orangier. So let's move here, orangey, climb it up. Get more orange. And this is why I go back and forward, because if I add a little bit more or too much orange here, I'll go back on top with few brush strokes to tone it down of just my yellow. I'm not going to try to take it away, but I'm going to try to tone it down. Okay. And I'm using primary red and the cadmium yellow to create this beautiful orange. More yellow. Gonna steal some white. Okay. Brush strokes without too much of a direction. And it looks like our orange kind of goes a little bit higher around this area. Then we're going to start transitioning to our blue, and what happens when our blue mixes with yellow. It's going to be a little bit of a green, but we have to keep this green. A little bit more red. A little bit more orange here. So remember, little brush strokes. It's all about the brush stroke. I'm gonna build this up. And direction point. White, and my white is not pure anymore. It is the side that I'm picking from, so I'm pushing, and I don't want to see long brush strokes. So swirls and short brush strokes, that's what I want from here. That's what his brush strokes look like. Swirlies and left and right application. So I'm gonna go back to my purple. It almost seems like this is going up. All right, so what materials or what he was using in his art, he will go from oils to pastels, like oil pastels, and you can see the difference between pastel paintings and oils or paint, acrylics or paint. So it is fun to do the pastel painting. I love it. So I'm going to go a little bit to the blue. This is too, okay, so we're going to add a little bit of blue here with white, not washing my brush because it will mix gentle, right? I just love brush strokes, zillions of brush strokes. It's so neat. So white keeps it a little bit lighter, obviously. And just twirl your brush and wipe, adding small brush strokes. And I'm bouncing left, right, so I'm not going in a huge order because I don't want predictable brush strokes. I want it to be random. I want it to be the way it looks to me, like in his painting. So I washed my brush a little bit because it was getting like too bulky with paint. And I'm gonna load back in a little bit more blue and white. And I'm gonna climb this up. I'm gonna get a little bit of yellow without washing my brush, and white because it seems a little too dark, just to bring that gentle green, what I can see in his painting. So I did not want it to do just a green line. So I have the orange, the blue, and it's part of the green in the same location. So now my transition is more gradual versus sharp. Let's go a little darker. So I'm gonna start from the top, and I'm going to even steal a little bit of purple here. Too much purple, but that's okay because I'm gonna go over with some of the blue, ultramarine. Still some white, and not too much. Some primary blue, there it is, that's my color right now. White primary blue, and get that going. And I'm gonna go up and down a few times. You see I'm leaving spots, empty spots. I am trying purposely not to fill in everything because that's not the idea. Brush strokes go left, right, sideways, up, down. Let's get some white and some yellow here. And climb this up a little bit. Smooth it. By smoothing, it means my transition is smoother, not sharp. But I don't want smooth brush strokes. I want tons of brush strokes to create the illusion of things are going gradually from one color to another. Perfect. So I am going, what color gives me green? So I'm gonna go with primary red with a little bit of the yellow in it, and add some of that into the church, into the St. Giorgio. And I think on the edges, that is perfect. That's exactly what I needed. And right here on the bottom part, a little bit here, and I'm running out of color, so I'm using the water to add a little bit of that on the bottom part. Now this seems to me like it's working. Let me look and observe, and a lot of times I'm just going to check it from different directions and liking what I see. So I'm going to get some of the orange and just apply an orange yellow, which is a cadmium yellow. It's orangey yellow, and I'm gonna apply some brush strokes just to emphasize a little bit more on that orange area. But again, I'm trying to be sporadic. I'm not trying to be in order, and I'm gonna climb a little bit higher. And then I'm gonna go to the reds and apply a little bit of that red, take a little bit of white, and more. Delete sharp lines. So the only thing that has a little bit more sharp lines is the same Giorgio. And this place here, I think I have to change this building. I don't know why I did that, but it's okay, because I can see how we're going to fix that. Gonna add a little bit of white, and there it is. A little bit of orange, a little bit of red. Perfect. So you see, that was an easy fix. So if we have anywhere something that we're not 100% liking it, we can always move things around. Nothing in painting is set in stone. And for example, it seems like I made the tower a little bit wider, and I'm trying again to move it to this area. So I'm going to get the orange and the red and just shrink it down a little bit. And how easy was that? There it is. Take some of the blue and the greens, and that's it. Some of the orange that is climbing here, it's actually longer brush strokes. So I'm going to continue building. So small brush strokes, it's a serious building process. You don't want to do it too fast in that area, unless you feel super confident. Okay, so we're gonna go into the water. So this area into the water, we're gonna do a little bit of a dark shadow area right on the bottom of the church, and then we're gonna go purple. Darker purple, and still making it lighter. Let's add a little bit of primary blue with the purple that I have, and now I'm going to go over here and create the brush strokes. Let's stretch this out. Without washing my brush. Alright, so continuing with just building the water here, taking a little bit of the orange, because what is happening, the sky is in beautiful colors and they are reflecting in the water. And one of his favorite things that one of his studies that he was doing is reflection in the water. So a lot of the paintings that he has done are reflections, and the most famous paintings of Monet were the water lilies. I love the water lilies. Such a beautiful, beautiful combination of color and shadows to create the elements. So I will totally suggest you go observe them, study the painting, just look at it and see what it does to you. Because everybody will see it a little bit differently. I watered this a little bit too much, so I'll leave it alone. I'll continue. Now the water brush strokes, we have even a little bit of wave here, and we're gonna want to create that wave. His orange color is much lighter than what I am doing, so I'm going to go back and tone it down a little bit, and I'm using a little bit of white with my cadmium yellow. And I'm running out of that. Let's bring this. I might have to wait for this to dry until I do something, until I clear my brush. Let's see what's gonna happen with this dark red. It's a very limited palette for this painting. By limited, I could have used just magenta red, the cadmium yellow, one blue. I was always going to add the black and the white, obviously, but I have two blues and two reds and the magenta, so I could have taken some of these colors out and still work and still do what I'm doing right now. So this is more like an orange, so I'm gonna go over it, and again, not forgetting these little brush strokes. Love these paintings. I have done one that it's on the bridge. We have tons of paintings of his yard where he was living. And this is one of the things, if you have a garden, you can absolutely pick something from your garden and just make it happen. I'm adding like a little bit of a dirty white in here, and seriously, for me, painting with that size brush is absolute torture. But in this situation, I will torture myself to get as close as possible to the brush strokes, because if I have bigger brush, I am going to make bigger brush strokes, and that's not going to work. Okay, going back in here with my orange and pretty much bouncing it around. Here is that. A little bit more of the darker red and full color. A little bit darker than what I see in this color. So we are going to pretty much continue doing everything down here, almost the same as the sky, except in this area it's getting closer to us. So we are going to see little waves, and again, how are we gonna tell? We are going to add a little bit of a shadow and a little bit of a highlight, and they still going to be brush strokes the way he was doing, not perfect brush strokes, but they're going to represent the shadow. And that's one of the things that he will be, you know, he was studying in his life of painting, is the color and the shadows and reflections. And that's why you're going to see tons of his paintings have water in them. That is one of the things. And water is one of the things that I love painting too. So we're going to add a little bit of the red over here. Brushing it a little bit, so I'll leave this to dry. I'm going to move to another area and I'm going to work there. And this is the beautiful thing about us painting and taking our time and bouncing from one side to another to give chance to the other side to go to a location where we can play and not mess up things. Okay, so I am ready to go into the greens. And here is my green a little bit. And I'm going to add brush strokes of green there, very little. Is getting a little bit too much. I'm going to go back with blue. And that totally works. Some of the waves. So this is the side of the wave that is facing us. Kind of bluish greenish. So just playing around and adding color and color and color and brush strokes. Too much water, but that's okay. Grab more white. because the water has movement. So the reason why our reflection is not just a line is because of that movement. And I'm going to try to add light colors in, representing those tiny little waves that are passing and breaking the reflection. And again, I am getting too muddy of a color here, so that means I need to still wait to be dried up a little bit more. So I'm going to move to the side and continue playing with my colors here. And that helps me create the elements not predictable but more random. So you see the area where I have already been. I still want to go in and kind of touch up and add some new brush strokes just to make it look more Monet-ish. Absolutely love this, and I went a little lighter. That's okay, because whatever I'm adding, it's just another layer of something that will come. Purple to our waves. Let's like some water in here. So my purple is very muddy, and that's okay at this point. Slightly, so going back and forth and looking at this painting and the lines, and they're almost like they're transparent. Lighter blues. I don't want that to mix with the purples. I just want blue. The lighter blue. And at one point, you're going to want to cover a bigger area. Don't do that. Just keep on going. You're almost to the end. And lighten a little bit this area here. Same brush strokes. And we are going to smooth those two areas at one point, the same way we did it with the sky. We went a couple of times back and forward. Maybe go back to the orange. And apply a little bit more orange. And red. More of the orange and go here on this side. Orange also like this waves here. And it goes towards these buildings. I'm not trying to take away everything, I'm just adding to it. Take some white. I'm gonna go back in here and actually apply on top of the white. I'm just gonna add a little bit of white and that water. I see it in his painting. Going on top of some of the waves. With that front light, so you can see it. it almost looks like I can be done right here, except I want to add a little bit of red into San Giorgio. And also the reflection. This red is like a burgundy, right? Red, red, back to my more red. So the brush strokes of the building, they're all over the place. Okay, that looks like we can finish it. I'm gonna have to sign my whole name to make it look like almost this. Let's get water on that brush. Let's change the brush to this one. Looks like a long bristle for 0. Take away a little bit of that signature. It's way too dark. Doing it with perfect. All right, well, this is what we did today. We totally did a Monet and a beautiful colors, and it's painted on a canvas board. And I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you liked it, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks a lot.